Welcome back to the zone, Stalkers. Patch 1.7 has officially reintroduced A-Life into the zone, along with the new master difficulty and several other features. This patch is by far the best patch. As someone who hasn't played Stalker 2 in months due to lack of any, in my opinion, impactful updates, this update has made me want to start playing the game again. It's a beefy one, so please refer to the timestamps in the description. As someone who has been extremely critical of the lack of A-Life in Stalker 2, this patch has reignited my hope in GSC implementing it into the game. The lack of A-Life was the main reason I wasn't playing consistently for months. In patch 1.7, factions and mutants will fight over points of interest. You will be able to see the results of these fights in there being dead bodies of the losing faction and patrols of the winning faction in the area of the POI. And it will be consistent. For example, I witnessed stalkers fight bandits at the checkpoint at the entrance of the cordon. The free stalkers left and a group of duty took over the checkpoint. I went down to the rookie village, traded items, and repaired my gear. I then walked all the way back up to the checkpoint, and duty still remained in control. So if GSC wanted to implement faction wars, they have a solid foundation to build it on. But this isn't what made me believe A-Life is officially implemented into the game. There is now consistency in the NPCs you encounter in the zone. You will pass by a group of duty or freedom that you can possibly see again later on in your travels. If they loot bodies they fought before meeting you, you will be able to find that loot on them. When I experienced this during patch testing, it made me want to start a whole new playthrough right away. I don't have video of the encounter I had, but I can explain it. In the same example I gave earlier at the checkpoint, the group of stalkers I passed by had killed a bloodsucker before I even arrived at the checkpoint and before they fought the bandits. I only know this because I found a dead bloodsucker on my way to Rookie Village. When I went back to the checkpoint on my way back from Rookie Village, the checkpoint that's controlled by duty, when I walked a little past it, there was a group of dead stalkers. When I looted them, there was the bandit loot and the bloodsucker part found on the bodies. This is a huge step and has totally convinced me that GSC has found a way to add in A-Life to Stalker 2. The combat has greatly improved in patch 1.7. Enemies have a hard time seeing you through foliage, so they will try to get a better position on you, or you can sneak around them easier in the swamps and other foliage-dense areas. When a mutant or NPC is close to death, they will now possibly retreat and try to get a better angle on you instead of rushing in to die. I have noticed that the enemies feel much more aggressive when it comes to flushing you out of cover or flanking you. The combat feels more fleshed out and challenging. There are still some small issues and glitches, but overall this is a great improvement that I look forward to in my next playthrough. Since release, I've been waiting for Master Difficulty to come back and play the game. It's the only way I played the trilogy and the only way I wanted to play Stalker 2 when it came out. After a year, we finally have our beloved Master Difficulty back in the zone. The major differences between Veteran and Master are as follows. Master Difficulty requires you to create a whole new game due to a new feature called Expedition Mode. Expedition Mode is something you can only enable from the start of a new playthrough. It causes the game to only save at main story checkpoints and when you leave a hub like Rostock or Zalicia. When you exit the game or exit to the main menu, it will create an exit save. It can be enabled on any difficulty mode, but Master requires it to be enabled. At first, I didn't like the idea of being forced to play with this mechanic on Master difficulty, but the more I play, the more I really don't mind it. Although I don't mind it, I still think they should change it to be optional for people who want to play Master without Expedition. Difficulty customization is always better than forcing mechanics onto difficulties, in my opinion. I've seen a lot of people on the internet worried that there will be bullet sponges on Master difficulty, but there are not, so don't worry. In terms of damage dealt by the player, I'd say it's about the same as Veteran. The major difference in damage is the NPC's attacks hurt more than the other difficulties. If you run into an anomaly, it will most likely kill you in one hit. Different artifacts can help resist anomaly damage, but I haven't tested this enough to give you guys a comprehensive list of what artifacts will help with different anomalies. On Master difficulty, food and bandages still heal you, but extremely slow, and do not heal as much health as the other difficulties. I love this change. It makes things more realistic in a way, and causes the player to think about the consumables he uses a lot more. As far as how much medkits heal you, I would say it is about the same as other difficulties, maybe a little less. The loot found on NPC bodies is reduced compared to other difficulties, unless the NPC looted other bodies before meeting you. Stashes are a lot more valuable because of the rebalances in previous patches and the new feature that they added in this patch. Buying and selling as well as repair prices are different in Master difficulty. Things are generally more expensive. For example, 30 rounds of 545 in Veteran cost 720 coupons, and on Master it costs 960. If you sell that back to the trader, they'll give you 120 coupons on Veteran and 90 on Master. I suggest taking the repeatable jobs from bartenders and looking for stashes. If you do that, you will not have that hard of a time with the economy. The inventory, artifact, and consumable UI has changed for the better. You will now be able to see the level of every protection stat below your quick access slots. These stats show the grand total of everything you have equipped, including your suit, helmet, and artifacts. Artifacts have been moved to the left side of the equipment tab and have a radiation bar included. This little bar will show you the level of radiation you are receiving from your equipped artifacts. The MVGs have also received their own slot at the top left of the inventory screen. As for artifacts and consumables, they no longer show up as a vague message on the level of buff or debuffs they provide. There is now a display of green or red bars that will help players understand how these things actually affect them, on a more specific note. Overall, I love these changes. The inventory looks a lot cleaner now. In this patch, GSC has added in a new mechanic for overconsumption of energy drinks, and has changed how sprinting and the stamina system works. When you start to consume energy drinks, a new icon will appear above the health bar. As you drink more, the icon will become more bold and it will eventually start blinking, showing that you will have tremors when you try to aim your weapon. Skiff will also start breathing fast as an indication. Skiff now has a tired sprint when your stamina bar only has a quarter left. The stamina bar will not reach 0 unless you decide to jump or melee. With this change, you are able to keep sprinting for as long as you want, just not as fast as you usually do. The stamina rework in regards to sprinting is great. The only complaint I have is the fact that the tremor mechanic is more of a drunk sway rather than jitteriness. 2 new anomalies have been added to the zone, the steam anomaly and this weird droplet anomaly. If you are wanting to take pretty screenshots with no HUD or record cinematic footage, the new immersive mode allows you to quickly turn off the HUD. Settings for this can be found in the settings menu. GSC has added a new weather type to the zone in the form of light rain. Last but not least, you can now find coupons and stashes in the forms of SD cards. This makes looking for stashes even more profitable. Patch 1.7 is a chunky one. This patch has gotten me back into Stalker 2. Although I was going to wait for the engine update, this patch has roped me back into wanting to play the game again. To be honest, I didn't expect a major patch like this before the engine upgrade, but here we are. Overall, this patch is the best patch we have had so far, and I hope there will be even better patches in the future. For a few months, I had become pretty bummed out when it came to Stalker and GSC's updates, but this one has restored my faith in their development. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving me a like and subscribing for more Stalker 2 content. I appreciate you all, good luck, and good hunting, Stalkers.